Hi everyone! So I mentioned that I was going to do this video many months ago now, but this is all about my 2013 Holy Grails and where they are now. I can't believe that I have been on YouTube for such a long time. I did a video at the beginning of 2014 that was all about my Holy Grail beauty products of 2013. Now, I didn't upload a whole lot in 2013. I think I had just a small handful of videos, and then I came back in 2014 super excited because I had a video camera and I thought I was going to be really dedicated, and I didn't end up doing a whole lot for most of 2014, but I have this beauty, this video with like 300 views of my Holy Grail beauty products. So I thought that I would go through them and talk about the products that were once my Holy Grails and if anything still actually is. So I just decided to embrace my very fragile real hair because it's just like the other video. I couldn't find the top that I was wearing in this video. I'm pretty sure I still have it. And yeah, I just went really basic. I did put false lashes on, which I don't have in the old video, which I definitely recommend watching, even just for the laughs. It's like 13 minutes long and it's hilarious. It is awkward. And also, my old cat Cassini makes a little appearance in the background of that video, and it was really hard to watch actually because I miss her so much. My little baby. So anyway, if you're bored and you want to see that video. So anyway, I went through the products basically in the same order that I would put them on my face, which is how I would normally talk about products. And the first thing is a mattifying primer from Korres. Now, I actually really loved this primer a lot, and I ended up getting my hands on multiples of these, and I was even gifted one at one point, and it was absolutely my favorite primer when I had combination skin, because I felt like it wasn't super mattifying. It just kind of balanced everything out. I don't see myself liking it right now where my skin is crazy dry, and right now it is so dry that I'm just like piling on moisturizer all the time. It's the worst part about my skin right now actually. Like, a lot of the issues I've had have like breakouts have cleared up, but just the dryness. So that primer I haven't used in a long time, probably a couple of years since I finished the last one. I want to say probably 2 years ago, but it was a favorite of mine and Holy Grail for quite a few years. The next product is a foundation. It is from MAC. It is the Match Master SPF 15 foundation in the shade 1.0. I don't know why I didn't repurchase this once I had finished it. I can't recall using this foundation for a very long time. I love MAC foundations though, but I actually know nothing about the Match Master, and I want to say that it probably was a long time ago that I used this. I honestly cannot remember. My favorite MAC foundations for the longest time have been the Water Weight foundation, pretty much since that came out, and the Mineralized Moisture foundation, which I just found out was discontinued because I was doing some research, and it's sad because I really like that. And I find MAC probably the best in terms of shade matching, but the Match Master foundation I think was a little bit more of a fuller coverage foundation. And the other foundation is the Urban Decay Naked Skin foundation. And it's funny because I had my shade as 1.0, and then I did a few bottles with the 1.0, and then I switched to the 0.5, which was the lightest of the fair shades. And if you watch this video, you can see that my foundation is definitely a little yellow for me, which would have been the Naked Skin foundation, I'm pretty sure. And the thing about that is that I had been told by a couple people in comments on YouTube and some other places that I wasn't actually as fair as I thought I was, and that I shouldn't wear the lightest shade. And the only difference between 0.5 and 1.0 was the undertone, not actually that it's lighter. So 0.5 is the fairest cool tone, and 1.0 is the fairest warm tone. And people were like, you're not as fair as you think you are. You should go with the 1.0 instead of 0.5, without actually knowing why the foundations were numbered the way they were. And so that's why I stuck with 1.0 for so long. And it's so weird how people can influence you in that way, but I was definitely like believing people and being like, oh yeah, I definitely, you know, need like a shade or two higher, and then you can actually see that it's darker. And it's oftentimes when I take people's advice on that, I end up with a slightly darker foundation. I don't know if my foundation looks a little dark right now. I am very fair right now because it's winter time as well. So in the summertime, like last summer, I actually got a little bit of color, a little bit of a natural tan because I was outside so much that I actually did need a slightly darker foundation. But in general, I'm very fair, so it can be difficult sometimes to get a foundation that actually matches me fairly well, but I do somewhat try. I haven't bought any new foundations in a while, but that's so funny. I went through probably 11 bottles of the Urban Decay Naked Skin foundation. I loved that foundation so much, and I only stopped repurchasing it because I decided to swap to the water weight foundation from MAC, because I found that the water weight and the MAC were very similar, and I just enjoyed the water weight a little bit more, and I felt like it was looking a little bit better on my skin at that point. But I just kept going back and back and back to the Naked Skin foundation. If you go back and watch any of my old videos, you will see it repeatedly show up in empties. You will see me using it all of the time. It was definitely a go-to foundation for me, and something that I might consider going back to at some point. I do think when I need to purchase a new foundation, and I do emphasis need, I will do the MAC one first. But then if the MAC one doesn't suit me after I use it, then I would try the Naked Skin again, just because they are so similar, and I did have such good luck with that foundation for so long. So I currently don't have it, and I wouldn't list it as a holy grail, but it definitely was solid for a very long time. I also listed the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NW, I had 2.0, but I think it might have been NW20, which would have been too dark for me, and I did talk about that in the video, and I talked about how I mixed it with the foundations, which is still what I do sometimes with concealers. I really don't know how this was a holy grail of mine, because I'm thinking now, because I have memories panning that concealer shortly after this video, and then after using it so consistently and hating it and hating the little tube, because it was the pump, because it was the concealer that you pumped, and I remember having so many issues, and I was so glad when it finished. But it's funny because at this time, this is truly the products that I really loved, and I also had very few products in comparison to now, and just looking back over the years, because 2013 was quite a long time ago and at the very beginning of sort of my makeup sort of new journey. So I was definitely going through and experiencing a lot of new products and a lot of new categories, and I was definitely not a big concealer person, but I think I enjoyed this because I was really into MAC, and I liked the ability to mix it, which is what I talked about in the video, about mixing it with the other foundations for a fuller coverage. I talk about a beauty blender, and it's funny, I still enjoy Beauty Blender. This one desperately needs to be washed, but Beauty Blender was a game changer for me, and something that I haven't used that much recently, because again, I let other people get to me. One of my favorite ways to apply foundation is to apply it with a brush first, because I find that it's really, really quick, and then with a damp beauty blender or beauty sponge or whatever, go over top. And I find that it was really making everything look very flawless. But then there's people who are like, oh, you're doing your makeup wrong if you have to use both. You should only have to use one. And it's not true. There's no rules with tools. You can do whatever works for you. I started seeing like other people doing that, and like, you know, using beauty blenders on certain spots of their face and then using brushes on other spots, or the combination of the two. And so I'm trying to get back into it again. It's sad because people's words really do affect me sometimes, but hey, it is what it is. So I'm working on, you know, making sure that I hear my own voice first instead of somebody else's. So I wouldn't necessarily list a beauty blender as a holy grail right now. Like if someone was asking me to like list holy grail makeup tools, a beauty blender probably wouldn't be on there right now, but maybe it should be. The Urban Decay, yes, there are a lot of repeat brands here, and I was definitely a big Urban Decay fangirl, and still kind of am. A little bit, not as much as I was, but the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. So this is definitely still a holy grail for me. This is a must-have, and I have to thank everybody who... Okay, so I did a video, in case you missed it, a little while ago where I just did a quick check-in on my beauty budget no-buy situation and how that was going for me, and I wasn't expecting the reaction that I was getting. I was just giving an update of what my life was like, and the response was overwhelming, and I had so many people reach out and want to send me the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion because I talked about how I was out of it and what a difference it had made and what problems I was having with my eyeshadow currently. And I don't know how to handle stuff like that. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't have like a public PO box. I don't have like a Patreon or anything like that because I find myself very uncomfortable accepting things from people, and it can take me a very long time to accept things from people, like something like a gift. And I did end up talking with somebody who I'm hoping to collaborate with, and she offered to send me the primer potion, and it took a long time for me to say yes. And I just want to really say thank you so much because it really means so much to me, and it was totally unexpected. I was not expecting so many people to come out and ask to send me that, and just the amount of messages and stuff I got from that video really meant so much to me, and the amount of people, like, I'm not used to that kind of kindness. So I just want everyone to know how thankful truly I am, but it's also not why I made that video, and I just wanted to be honest with people about the situation that I was in. And yes, I do really miss my eyeshadow primer potion, as silly as it sounds, and I will be very grateful to have one in my hands at some point to use again, because I notice a difference with my eyeshadow, and it's significant, and that's why I keep going back to the primer potion and why it has been such a holy grail for me. And I have tried other primers, eyeshadow primers, and they just don't work for me, and other methods don't work for me. I have really dry eyelids, and I have like psoriasis that sometimes flares up on my eyelids, and it seems like the oilier my eyelids are, the worse that eyeshadow looks, and then the worse that psoriasis gets, and it goes back and forth, and definitely the winter time is the worst for it. But I always have had an issue with eyeshadow and eyeliner disappearing off of my eyes, and it wasn't until I discovered the primer potion that I realized it doesn't have to be like that. I can actually have my eyeshadow and eyeliner stay put for the whole day, and I noticed a huge difference. And now, not using the primer potion, my eyeshadow creases a lot, and it doesn't matter what it is. Every eyeshadow creases because my eyelids are so oily, or it fades and disappears and almost disappears entirely, that like when I come home and I'm like removing my makeup, it takes like 5 seconds because there's like no makeup left, because it just doesn't stay on my eyelid. There's something about the primer potion that's just like super glue and sticks it there, but yet the eyeshadows apply so well on top of it, and everything just looks the way that I want it to look. So the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion is definitely still a must-have for me, because I just noticed such a huge difference with eyeshadow primer, that particular eyeshadow primer, that I just can't get with anything else. Another weird holy grail product for me was the Benefit What's Up. Yeah, so it was this stick highlighter, like a cream. I don't have What's Up here, but I do have this milk one, so it's kind of a similar thing to this. You probably saw it before, where you can twist it up and then you have like that highlighter on a stick, and then you can apply it to your face. And I would apply highlighter that way, tap it on to my cheekbones, and I would use it as a brow bone highlight or an inner corner highlight, just like patting it on with my finger. I think I liked it at the time because highlighters weren't really a big thing, and there were only a couple of things, and a couple of these things that are mentioned in here are things that were sample sizes, things that came as deluxe samples or in those like 500 point perks from Sephora, because that was really my intro to a lot of different makeup products, and that's the stuff that I started using consistently. But I can't remember the last time I used What's Up. I'm not a huge fan of these sort of stick style products when it comes to highlighters. I just find that I don't get the intensity that I want, and I find it really hard to kind of blend them well. I have been trying to use some of those stick things, but I like cream products now more than I ever did before, or at least more than I have in recent history. And I like cream contour and I like cream blush, but I still am not completely sold on cream highlighter. But at this time in 2013, I did really enjoy using it. I had a bronzer from Smashbox, the Bronze Light Bronzer in Suntan Matte that I was using as contour. And when I look at this video, I can see that it was definitely a warm bronzer that I was using for contour. And you know what? This was my intro to sort of contouring. Contour products weren't really major at that point. Finding those sort of products were somewhat difficult. It wasn't as mainstream. You're not as inundated with products, even 7 years ago compared to now. And I was using the bronzer to contour because I was watching these beauty videos and I was watching what other people were doing. And when I got this little, you know, deluxe size sample of this bronzer, I thought that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna awkwardly apply it. I'm pretty sure I used this brush for the longest time to apply my contour and or my bronzer. Very, very warm. And I think I panned this. I definitely remember seeing like a massive bit of pan on that bronzer, so I can't remember if I finished it completely though, but I know that I did get really tired of it, and I know I stopped using it once I had more cool tone contours, and then I didn't do bronzer at all for quite a long time, and I've only just recently got into bronzer. I've sort of made bronzer like an everyday step in my makeup, and sometimes one of the few things I will put on my face if I'm doing very minimal product. But the Suntan Matte, the reason I liked it was for contouring and like trying to contour my nose and my everywhere, my whole face, and it just was not ideal for that. Hindsight is 2020. I had two eyeshadow palettes as my holy grails, the Urban Decay Naked 2 and the Naked Basics palette. So Naked 2 I don't have anymore. I ended up depotting it because I had dropped it at one point. I actually talk about that in this video, how I dropped it and the shadows kind of all popped out, and I ended up depotting it and using it from a Z palette at one point, and I did pan entirely Chopper, the copper shade, and Half Baked, because Half Baked is an eyeshadow that I panned with the original Naked palette, and then I panned the one that was in Naked 2, and then I bought the single of it because it's probably my favorite gold eyeshadow. Like if I had to pick just one gold eyeshadow to use, as difficult as that would be, I really do think it would be Half Baked. It's just tried and true. It is just such a good, solid gold color. And I really did like the Naked 2 palette a lot because it was cool toned, and I think I really enjoy the cool tones, the way that they look on me. I love warm toned eyeshadows. I love me some orangey colors. I love that sort of contrast with my eye color, but I do really enjoy just those basic, cool, neutral shades, which is why I really enjoyed the Naked 2. I can't remember why I decluttered it, but I think it was just because it was old and the shadows just weren't performing as well. But I definitely feel that sort of gap in my eyeshadow collection because so much of what I have is very warm. The Naked Basics palette is, I would still say this is one of my top eyeshadow palettes. Like if I had to rank them, and people have asked me to do this, like, you know, if I could only keep 10 eyeshadow palettes, the Naked Basics palette is one of them. I panned this particular Naked Basics palette, and then I ended up repurchasing it. It's the only palette that I've panned and repurchased, and I have to stand by those shadows. It's a very simple set of neutral shadows, but I love the formulation so much. I love just those basic combination of colors. I get so much use out of it. I haven't used it in a while, and I definitely have to find it now, dig it out, and give it a go again and see if that really does stick true. But I just feel like it would be one of the first things that I would purchase if I lost all of my makeup, because it's such a good staple set of neutral eyeshadows that I could do just really basic like eye contouring, or just throw some really like pale shadows on, or do like the dark black smoky eye, which is one of my favorite things to kind of teach myself how to do with that palette. So I have very fond memories of it, and I did enjoy panning it, and I'm really glad I still have it, and it is so good. It is so good. I think it still exists. I don't think Urban Decay discontinued that one. Like they've discontinued so much and things go back and forth, but wait, maybe I should look that up now. I can't believe I didn't think about this before. I guess I just wanted to shield myself from that in case it really didn't exist anymore. Is it discontinued? Oh wait, it's out of stock. Does that mean it's discontinued? I'm searching it right now on the Urban Decay website, and it looks like it's out of stock. Okay, I know they were supposedly discontinuing the original Naked palette, but Wow. Okay, so I'm on Makeup Alley and it says that it has been discontinued. Rest in peace, my beautiful friend. I am really sad now. I knew the Naked, but they still have the Naked palettes, but they don't have the Naked. Hold up. You guys are witnessing my sorrow right here. We're in real time. Okay, so Naked Basics 2 still exists, which I wanted to like but hated the formulation, but the original Naked Basics appears to have been discontinued. And I did not know about it, and here I am like raving about this and being like, this thing I'd repurchase, but I can't purchase it if I ever lost my makeup because it doesn't exist anymore. Way to go, Urban Decay. Way to go. I'm sad. I'm so out of the loop when it comes to these things, especially if it's products that like I already have or things that I'm just so used to existing. I never think to look to see if it's been discontinued. Like that was what happened with my foundation when I looked that up. But apparently, okay, Naked Basics is discontinued and it is no more. I'm really sad. I'm gonna have to dig mine out and definitely give it love and treasure it because I'm a little sad. I thought that was gonna be one of those things that was gonna be like around forever. Disappointment. Wow. You really can't go home again. Okay, I had 3 eyeliners that I mentioned. I have one from Julep, one from CoverGirl, and one from MAC. So the Julep one, yes, Julep, is a double-sided eyeliner. It was one side was brown and one side was black, and I was obsessed with the black side. I was subscribed to Julep for a long time, and I got so many nail polishes, and then I just got really bored of it, and it was very repetitive, and not all the products were great, so I ended up canceling my membership, which at the time was an ordeal. I remember having to talk to like 8 different people on the phone in order to like cancel my membership. It was crazy. But this particular eyeliner, I liked it because it was really soft, and I really liked the black side, although it did smudge quite a bit, and I did acknowledge that in the video as well, but I think I just liked having that sort of like messy, smudgy kind of eye. All these eyeliners I talk about are black. I had a Liquid Blast eyeliner from CoverGirl called Black Fire, which was very similar, and I'd say the formulation was very similar to the Urban Decay 24/7 eyeliners, which is why I liked it, because it was a cheaper version of that, and just the name is appropriate. Liquid Blast was definitely a pencil eyeliner that you had to sharpen, but it was also very soft and very easy to apply, and I didn't get the same sort of smudging with the Julep one. And I'm definitely a black liner in the waterline sort of person. Not today, surprisingly, but generally I would definitely rim my eyes quite a bit, and with just some neutral shadows, like especially when I was first playing with makeup, I did a lot more just like rimming my eyes with eyeliner, continuing how I used to do my makeup kind of in high school and even when I was in university a little bit, and I just sort of expanded from there. The other eyeliner is from MAC, was from MAC, the Pearl Glide eyeliner in Black Swan. So I loved the Pearl Glide eyeliner formula. I know they discontinued this formula a while ago, but these had really fun little specks of glitter in it, and they had lots of fun color. Undercurrent was my favorite, I think, overall, which was this green one. It was just fun to use these liners that had this a tiny bit of sparkle. I used to put the Black Swan eyeliner like just on my lash line. It would just be like a little bit of sparkle, and then I would use like the CoverGirl on my waterline, or I do another one of the Pearl Glide liners on my lash line just to see a little bit of sparkle in there. And it was a lot of fun. I was definitely more into eyeliner than eyeshadow for a while, and I think that's why I still have so many eyeliners, but that formulation was really fun. It was really smooth eyeliner. Just, I know I had a few bad experiences because of the glitter. If I got it too close to my eye, it was very uncomfortable. I just had to keep it a little bit further away, and I can see probably why they would discontinue it, because I don't think it was eye safe at all. And the last Holy Grail product was the Bad Gal mascara from Benefit, and this was a sample size, and I think I just really liked the brush from the sample size, not necessarily the mascara itself. And also I was very new into using more expensive mascaras, and a lot of my experience was coming from deluxe sizes and samples, and I was very impressed with it because it was a more expensive thing. And I think there was a time when sort of the name things were impressing me a little bit more, but you can see the name things were like MAC, Urban Decay, Benefit, Smashbox, the safe sort of brands and things that were really pushed sort of heavily at one point. Like MAC was definitely something that I heard a lot about because of YouTube. And then when I started going to Sephora, which was like 2011, I think, and that was when everything first started to happen for me. But now a lot of that has changed, and I don't have a whole lot of holy grails anymore because I have changed my makeup thoughts and opinions so much. I just keep trying different things and going around to different things like within my own collection. Like I'm not purchasing anything new, and that's probably also why it's difficult to have holy grail products, because I'm not going back to the same things, because then I just move on to something else that I have because I can't just afford to repurchase it. I think the handful of things, you know, Fix Plus was something that I'd consider a holy grail. Urban Decay Eyeliner Setting Spray, Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion, the Becca Under Eye Corrector. Products like that are definitely like foundation staples, holy grails, things that I keep repurchasing over and over again. But I don't feel like I have anywhere near as many holy grails as I did back then. And I think that was just because I was so new to makeup. But anyway, this was a lot of fun to reflect on those old products and really see what has happened to most of those things and how things have changed over the years. And it's just amazing how preferences and everything changes. My life is completely different now than it was way back then. So anyway, that video is still up on my channel if you are interested in seeing this fantastic quality video from 2014. I used natural lighting in that video, which is something I really wish I was able to do again. I was like sitting right next to a window or close to a window, and it was a much different time. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Thank you so much for watching and for spending some time with me today. I really, really appreciate it. I hope we get a chance to chat soon. Bye for now.